Good morning, everyone. Oh, good morning from me. My guest, it's good evening for her. She's joining us from New York, and I know that she's had a very busy weekend, so I want to thank her for sort of rushing home and taking the time to chat with us this week. I'll welcome everyone, of course, to our Stories of Everyday Women session this week. And I feel, really grateful to have Jackie come and join me and share her story with us, because I feel it's one of those stories that is really important for us all to hear. And, just listening to some of her talks in the last week or so on Instagram, I'm going to pick her brain about a few things. But before we get lost in that, I know that I'm meeting some people for the first time. So, of course, I'll introduce myself. My name's Y Tauiawe. I'm a transformation strategist. I'm based here in Melbourne, Australia. And this Stories of Everyday Women series was created twofold, two reasons. So first and foremost, hopefully to inspire a person on a day where they might need to hear a story from someone. But secondly, to champion to cheerlead the champions is my little catchphrase. So again, I have a lovely champion sitting virtually to my right today. So I want to welcome her again. And just before I ask Jackie to introduce herself to us, I want to take a moment, of course, and acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I am sitting on today here in Melbourne, here in Kew, the Wurundjeri tribe. Pay my respects to the elders of the Kulin Nation. Pay my respects to the elders of today and, of course, the emerging leaders of tomorrow. Without any further ado, Jackie, my friend, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for taking the time. Would you please tell us a little bit about yourself and share part of your story?
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and be connecting with new people and bringing new information to new people and be connecting with you. So super excited to be here. My name is Jackie Giesler. I live in New York, right in Manhattan, in the craziness of it all. Literally just walked off Amtrak and got my way in a cab home just now. I grew up in New Hampshire and live in New York City now, and I own a women's health coaching company called Live Free Fitness. And we work with women to create change in their lives, but not in the traditional sense that you think of a health program. Traditionally, you think of a health coaching program as, a workout guide and a meal plan, and you follow the guide and the meal plan and you hope to see change in your body. We take definitely a different approach at Live Free Fitness. We work with women to create, yes, the change in their bodies, but change that is long-term and change that is lifestyle oriented, change that is completely customized to the unique individual, and change that is deep health. So it's not just changing our bodies. And I just gave this metaphor to a brand new client of mine. She was like, "Are you sure you can handle me?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm sure I can handle you," because this particular client has a tendency and a habit of not prioritizing herself and hasn't quite explored self-love yet. And she wants to create changes in her body. But I said, creating change in our bodies is great. It's like a s'more without the marshmallow. The marshmallow is learning to prioritize yourself and learning to love yourself. And so we create like life's theoretical s'mores with yes, changing your body, but we've got the ooey gooey goodness of learning to love yourself and prioritize yourself and your stress management and your sleep and your self-care and all of that in the middle of, clean up your nutrition. Do your workout. So we're much more holistic in nature in what we do at Live Free Fitness.
Yeah, I love that. And I think, we all know that there are there's fads, there's diets, there's exercise regimes. But one of the things that I notice in a lot of what's available to people is that there's no one working on this idea of our mindset as well, and themes such as self-love. I'm interested to hear your take on that. Why is it you think that we struggle to sort of acknowledge this this need for self-love and taking care of ourselves from your point of view?
It's not taught. It's not talked about. It's like financial health, right? Like
Yeah.
we're not taught financial health in grade school and in college. You
Yeah.
know, if it's your major, you're taught, you know, economics and stuff, but it's not talked about and it's not taught. And we are taught as a society and as women to be the caregiver of others and to prioritize taking care of others and prioritize being easygoing and doing what other people want and what other people expect. And it's not something that we have conversations around, you know, like true, vulnerable, unconditional self-love for ourselves and self-growth. And just that concept is just not something that we're taught to prioritize, or that we're taught to talk about, or that we're taught to like have be a comfortable conversation to just have with your girlfriends or your friends or your family. And
Yeah.
so it tends to be just pushed back as we prioritize other things and other people and other needs in front of ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
The last kind of thing is it's a pattern that's built. Like everything else, it's a pattern that's built over and over and over again to just prioritize other things. And then when we want to, it takes a lot to realize that we need to break that chain. And now we need to prioritize ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. You're right. Of course, we're not taught those sorts of things. And it's a good way to compare it for people in terms of, you know, finances, because that's something we're not taught either.
It's like, congratulations, you're done with school. Now figure it out on your own, you know?
Yeah, I love that. So talk to me a little bit about that process that you start off with women, because I know it's a confronting thing to realize for some people, of having to prioritize yourself, and it's not an easy shift to make. I know I struggle with that too.
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding the question correctly. How do I get women to focus on that?
Yeah, how do you introduce that as a theme for them too? Because I know that when I say for me personally, I struggle with that. I'm one of those people who wants everyone else to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's kind of really hard to go, hang on, wait a minute. I might not be okay with this. What are you doing here? So I know that
Mm-hmm.
flip can be a big challenge for people. How do you, yeah.
So I think the first thing is, a lot of my clients come to me, my new clients come to me with that being one of their goals.
Okay.
They come to me saying, you know, yes, I want to lose weight, or I want to change my body, or I want to develop better eating habits. And a lot of it also is, I want to get back into my life. I want to be present again. I want to be me again. I want to do the things I love again. I want to take care of myself. So a lot of the women that start my program, that is a goal. And because I'm so sustainable oriented in my coaching, meaning I want to focus on a little bit at a time, I tell my clients straight up, you know, my expectation is to work with you for 6, 12, 6 months, 12 months, all the way up to 2 years, because I don't think that this is something that can just happen in 21 days or a 30-day 30-day cut, or, you know, whatever, 90-day program. So it's about, at first, focusing on a few things at a time that can give you that momentum and give you that, okay, I'm seeing results. Okay, I feel good. Okay, it felt really good to just RSVP no on Friday night and take a bath, watch a movie, and go to bed, you know? And to just have them to start to take small steps and small actions with my encouragement to do those small acts of change at the beginning, and to let that be a snowball. But to be okay that at first it's just a few things. It's just a little thing here and there. It's just a small step. Because again, my goal isn't to get my client 30 pounds down as fast as possible. Of course, we want that. But at the same time, we want the marshmallow on the inside of the s'more too, right? We want everything else. So I'm okay if the first pound doesn't come off until 4 weeks into the program. Because if we've gotten small wins and we've taken small steps, we can recognize that. And it's like, it's just like building the momentum. So it's like, you can't expect the car to be going You don't do miles per hour, or do you do miles per hour? Is that a
Oh,
metric?
we understand, but yeah, we do kilometers.
Kilometers per hour?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if this is going to make any sense. We're just going to keep it simple. You can't expect a car to be going 50 kilometers per hour. Hopefully that metric makes sense before you've even put the car in the ignition, spun it, and put your foot on the gas. Those have to go first, right? So it's really about building those small wins and that small momentum before the car is going, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to recognize too, I like that you set really clear expectations with people from the get-go, that this is going to take as long as it's going to take. And if that's 2 years, then that's 2 years. And that, I feel, is more realistic than what happens of, okay, let's do this quick fix for 30 days or whatever the program is. And then 2 years later, that person's having the same conversation.
Right. And the other thing that I think is a humble brag, but a distinction between what I do with women is I straight up tell them there is no end goal. We have goals along the way. We have, get 15 kilos down, but there's so much more beyond that. And I say it not as a way to stress them out. Oh my God, I have so much more beyond the 15 kilos I want off my body, right? I don't say it to stress them. I say it to excite them of like, there is no end point. You're on the highway and it's just going, right? There's no end point. There's no 15 kilos down and then my journey is done. It's 15 kilos down and then I can focus on other things. But again, from a lens of excitement and from a lens of, I love myself so much that I'm going to continue growing, instead of I love myself only enough to lose 15 kilos and call it quits, So I think the distinction is it's long-term. It's going to take as long as it takes, but there also is no end point. There's no, this journey is done when you blank. This journey is always growing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. I was listening to one of your Instagram, I don't know, reel, I'll say, but you were talking about this idea of us self-sabotaging almost our progress. And I wanted to tap into that because I was like, oh, that's interesting. I haven't heard that position before. May you just share a little bit about that?
Yes. So that idea is from a book, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. 10 out of 10 would recommend it. And it's this idea that we as humans have a tendency, again, going back to the patterns and habits that we've built up over such a long time, because we're not taught how to be happy. We're taught, history and math. Not that there's anything wrong with those, but I think happiness is important as well, just as important in life. So it's this idea that we as humans have a tendency to limit our capacity to feel happiness and to feel abundance and to attain wealth and a good relationship with wealth and finances, right? And so the examples are things like the person who loses 15 kilos but then puts it back on, or the person who gets a promotion but then somehow a couple months later gets fired, or the person who is in a beautiful, loving marriage but then goes and has an affair, or the person who they go on a first date with somebody and they hit it off, but they're too scared to take things to the next level. So they, shove them off and ignore them, right? Those are just some pretty big examples, but we do it on a micro scale as well of, I say to you, good morning. You look absolutely beautiful today. You're glowing. And a person's natural tendency to say, oh no, I don't look good today, or like, oh no, like I just rolled out of bed. When we deflect compliments is an example of limiting our own happiness, instead of like arms open wide, let me receive that compliment. Thank you so much. I know I look beautiful today, right? So we do it on a big scale, but we do it on a little scale as well. Like when we receive compliments or when we receive gifts and we're like, I'm uncomfortable, I don't want this gift, right? Or when we worry and we doubt and we get anxious, those are on a micro scale as well. But we have such a tendency to limit our own capacity for happiness, instead of just saying, I'm going to feel happy more often than I'm not going to feel happy. And when we can raise, right, it's like we hit, and I drew in that video, a bar that's like, we feel good, we bring ourselves back down. We feel good. And instead of like allowing ourselves to expand our capacity to feel happiness longer, and to feel joy longer, and to build connections longer before we self-sabotage ourselves. So it's just something to tune into and be aware of. Like, How often am I deflecting? How often am I worrying? How often am I starting to build momentum and then tearing myself back down?
100%. I love that. Thank you for sharing. I
Yeah.
knew I had to kind of pick your brain. And I think it's important for people to recognize that, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not just the big things. It is those tiny little, moments as well that all add up to become the bigger picture if we're not sort of regulating.
Right. And it's just a matter of like taking a step back sometimes, maybe just once a day, and asking yourself, how am I limiting my own capacity to experience abundance and joy today? Like,
Mm.
was I maybe a jerk to my partner? And that's limiting just whatever it is. It can be a micro, it can be a macro, it can be of any size. So I think that's important. And, obviously where that ties into health is just like, we self-sabotage ourselves all the time of like, I was good last week, I did my workouts, I ate my chicken, I ate my broccoli. This week, this week I don't have to work out because I was good, right? So it's even stuff like that where we kind of self-sabotage ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. That's nice. Tell me, how did this journey start for you? What inspired you to now want to go and work and help other women go on this journey?
So I was a two-sport college athlete. I played college, or you call it university, right? I'm trying to get
Yeah.
my terms down.
Don't worry, we got
I
you.
played at university. You also call it football, right?
Yeah.
I played university football and women's lacrosse.
Okay. Wow.
So I was always active. I mean, I was always in training. I was always, year round. But even though I was a university athlete, I gained weight and I developed a terrible relationship with myself, with my body, with my food, with exercise. I just developed such a bad relationship with everything in my life and always fell short of such high expectations I had for myself. I lost all my confidence. I became an overthinker. And I always tried to lose the weight the fastest way possible, which is why I frame things as a health coach now the way that I do, is because I always tried to lose the weight as fast as possible. I tried to eat less and work out more and do it as fast as possible because I had to be on the beach on Friday. And on Monday, I was like, okay, I'm going to be really strict with myself. And I had this back and forth relationship with health and with my body and with my weight for so long that when I finally started to get my health under control, it was when I really decided, okay, I need to slow down. I need to take a look at what's going on up here and in here. I need to get help. I need to get a community and I need a sense of accountability, right? It wasn't until I started incorporating all those things that I was able to make changes in my own health. So there was that side of things. And then there was a side of things that like, I always knew I wanted to work with people in some capacity and work in a way that I was able to make a change in people's lives. I also, growing up an athlete, I was always passionate about fitness. I went plant-based about 8 years ago now. So I was always passionate about learning about education as well. And it just kind of was, that being my background, all those things. And I've been growing right, just like you have to grow your muscles, you have to grow your muscle of trusting your intuition.
Yeah.
I've been growing my muscle of trusting my intuition for about 4 years now. So it was just one step after another of trusting my intuition of, the location, then the job, then quitting the job, then trying this, then the certifications, then working at the gym, then quitting the gym. Like it was just one step after another of trusting my intuition based on my past and my history to get to where I am now. And ultimately just taking where I was and being able to take that and now help women achieve something that is greater than just fat loss, that is greater than just strength, that is greater than just I ate my vegetables today, and creating that change, but doing so in a way that is so much more than that, because that was my own experience. And knowing that, I mean, sky's the limit. We can literally do whatever we want in this life. And so it was just a matter of, my background, my history with my own health, my vision for helping people, and kind of trusting myself along the way to get to where I am now. That, and I'm much too entrepreneurial to work for anybody else. To being honest, I can't do the whole schedule and that, you know.
Yeah, I hear you. Unfortunately for me, I was stuck on the hamster wheel a little longer than I needed to be, and
Yeah.
always wondered, hang on, what's going on here? I'm not really interested in, conforming to other people's ideals.
Exactly. I had no patience for that. Absolutely none.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so important. I like how you've really taken the one thing that really jumps out to me is that you can tell there's a lot of self work going on there. And with this journey that I believe that you're taking women on, you're actually taking them on the journey of personal development and growth. Yeah.
They don't know that, but yes.
No.
But yes, 100%. Because I've come to realize in the last several months that everything I've done up to this point, reading all the books, doing all the journaling, doing all the meditating, hiring all the coaches I've hired, taking this leap of faith into building a business, it's all, and I didn't realize this, it was all a journey of being able to fall in love, like truly, truly fall in love with myself and love myself and come to terms with that. And now through that realization, I'm able to tap into my abilities and my capabilities as a coach so much more now, because it's no longer about, yeah, let's get you shredded. It's also about let's get you shredded and learning to love yourself unconditionally no matter what. And they don't really know that signing up for the program, but they get that once they get going.
I know there's this saying, what is it? Give them, no, what is it? Something, give them what they want, but then give them what they need. It's
Yes.
that
And also under promise and over deliver.
100%. No, I love that. That's so great. So how is it that women get in touch with you, Jax? Like, where do they find you?
They find me on my website that is dropping this week. Finally.
Well,
I know. So you'll see my name right there. It says Jackie Live Free Fitness. So the website is livefreefitness.co.
awesome.
Not com. I know, unfortunately, that was already bought, which I don't understand how, but that's okay. Livefreefitness.co. I'm also on Instagram as Jackie Giesler, Geisler Fitness, Jackie Giesler Fitness. You can also find me on Instagram, Jackie Giesler. It's a picture of this with my name under it, and my website and my Instagram handle. I'm also on TikTok, Jackie Giesler Fitness, same handle. We're just getting that moving and grooving these days, though.
Nice.
Learning the technology.
I know, and there's so much out there. So that's cool. I'll post some links to all of those things so that people can get in touch with you. What would you say would be, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, but I feel that you'll be able to handle it. But what would you say would be the top 3 things that you would want women to take away from the experience of working with you and the team?
Honestly, I'm going to take away that last bit, that last sentence, working with me and the team. I don't want to make it about me. My top number one takeaway, number one thing that I would say is get help. It doesn't have to be me. It does not have to be me. It can be you. It can be me. It can be anybody, just get help. Because again, going back to just like societal norms, we're taught like, you can handle your stuff yourself, and I think there's like shame and guilt around getting help. So number one, first and foremost, is get support with whatever it is that you're going through right now. I promise you there is a professional out there that can help you in that specific area. If it's transformation, great. If it's health, great, right? But, and it can be anything. If it's divorce, if it's if it's depression, if it's anxiety, if it's finances, if it's investing, if it's, whatever it is, like there is a professional, no matter how unique your challenges are, there's a professional that can help you, and your journey will be so much better with support from a professional. and again, not saying that to make a plug for my business. Literally, I don't care who you get help from, just get help is number one. Does that count? And then the other two, right now we can insert Live Free Fitness back in there. Number one is just the sustainability of it, right? Really, really making sure that, like I said, there is no endpoint. It's, and not from a like anxiety inducing, I'm stuck on this wheel forever working on myself, but like, yeah, you are. You're working on yourself forever, because no matter, you know, who you are and how far you've come, no matter how much money you make, no matter how many six-pack abs you have, right, there's still growth, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So the sustainability of it and the long-termness of it. And then the other side of it is like, so tip number 3 is just embrace your uniqueness. Embrace your own struggles and challenges and battles and, you know, fights and your own wins, because we've all got shit, but your shit is unique. Excuse my language, right? I don't know if your viewers are okay with that, but, you know, really don't be afraid to let your uniqueness and your challenges and struggles be part of the conversation, because the more they can be part of the conversation, the better the support and results that you'll get, because you know that it's something that is catered specifically to you. So number 1, get help. Number 2, the sustainability and long-termness of it. And number 3, just embracing your own uniqueness with your challenges.
Yeah, that's awesome. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
You know, and this ideal that we don't ask for enough. I don't think we ask for enough help. And I was one of those people, hand on heart. It's like, oh, I would never ask for help. Now I'm like, absolutely. You know, a friend of mine was like, oh, you don't need a coach. I'm like, absolutely I do. Why wouldn't I? Like, why wouldn't I shortcut that process and leverage some expertise? It's not about how much we know. It's about reminding ourselves that, you know, this is the journey that we're on. Fabulous.
Yeah. I was gonna say the other thing too is like always embracing that like beginnership mindset too, right? Like, why wouldn't you need a coach? Of course, get a coach. And if it's some stuff you've already seen, have it from a lens of like, I can still learn from this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's probably a good point too. I feel as though we get stuck in the idea of we need to be fed new information all the time, because that's what's gone awry. But sometimes we're not being reintroduced to new content. We're being reintroduced to the same concepts, but it's all about us adapting to our own challenges and, to your point, our uniqueness and how we manage that. Oh.
Yes.
That was fun. You nailed it. You know, I think you addressed everything. I was like, you know what? Boom. That's it. I didn't have any more questions.
Gorgeous. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. That was amazing. I'll make sure that everyone gets access to different links and we can share that out. And if anyone wants to get in contact with Jackie and have a chat, you know, why not? Because we all need a little bit of help.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this week for that session. I hope everyone got something out of that.